Hello and welcome to this look at the Midland and Great Northern joint railway line from Melton Constable to Norwich City. In this part I shall be going from Lenwade, where I am now, to Drayton via Attlebridge. I was going to do that section in part 3, but there was so much to talk about it would have just made too long a video. So let's go in that direction and see what we can find. Now, as I've explained in part 3, on the right hand side here, which is the upside, because usually with railway lines upside line means towards London, but where the line does not go to London, we have to designate it another way, and in this case up means towards Lynn and down means towards Norwich City. So on the right hand side, the upside, there was a 1/4 of a mile long refuge siding, and all along here there was Anglian Building Products, Taylor Woodrow, and so I've been informed, a Dowmac plant, which are well known for making railway sleepers, and they had sidings, and the trains came after the closure of the line to Melton Constable. They came via the Thelmalthorpe curve that we've already looked at. And on the other side, the downside, somewhere along here there was a ballast siding. Looking back towards Lenwade, the way I've just come, I think this is the end of where that siding, the refuge siding, would have been, because after here we have an old gate post, some more along there, so I think possibly we're now just a single line again. And the line now climbs up to Attlebridge in places at 1 in 100. Now, I've just come across these rails here and some old sleepers laying longitudinally, and they're opposite an old gateway. So I imagine there was some occupation crossing here for the farmer, possibly. And I would like to think, and I'm sure they are original rails, but I don't think they're actually the running rails. There's too much of a kink in that one. So maybe they were just used to hold the sleepers that allowed the traffic to pass over the rails, the track. I've just spotted right near this occupation crossing this piece of metal. It looks like a brace for a crossing gate. And there's some old sleepers there as well. Fascinating. That definitely looks like a line side telephone cabinet or something like that, to do with communications, I would assume. Certainly looks original, but it's done well to last this long. Ah, another Nigel seat. What have we got on this one? I have no idea. No, I have no idea what that is. If you know, leave a comment. Here's our next bridge, which I'll go down and have a look. I can't guarantee the bridge numbers because none of them are numbered, and so I can't say for sure, and sometimes bridges disappear. They get filled in and I don't know, or levelled off. Now this should be bridge 266, an under bridge, 2 masonry arches. Now one is semicircular, which I think is that one, and the other one is segmental. Slightly on the skew, but what they're for I don't know. There's no road, there's no water. Oh, I don't know. But fine bit of engineering. On a bit of an embankment now, and if you can see that, as I say, we are climbing now up towards Attlebridge, and this is definitely a river bridge because there's the river, which I assume is the Wenson, as we are following the Wenson Valley. Now I believe this one, it should be number 267 plate girder. Now here's another bridge. This should be number 264, semicircular masonry underbridge, 2 arches. Let's see if I can get down and have a look. Yep, there we have it, 2 arches, semicircular. Fine bit of engineering as usual. Another strange concrete, I don't know, call it a sculpture, interlocking pieces with an inscription on, which I can't really see properly, but ends with 9 miles, only 9 miles, so that could be to Norwich. As we approach Attlebridge in that direction, the path deviates round the car park, but there are what's left of the buffer stops of the head shunt, a raised mound there, and there's some metal and some wood all covered in ivy. Well, that's what's left of the buffer stops of the head shunt at Attlebridge. Now this is Attlebridge. The path has deviated around, but you can just make out the platform there on the upside of the line, and round here should be all the yard building through the trees, but you'd hardly recognise it as such. It's been heavily converted. Right, let's press on. If proof were needed, there's the road sign. And the station should be down here. So this is the site of the yard with the station there between those trees, and this was all the Attlebridge yard, such as it was. And here's a much better view of the platform, station, and the little cabin on the end of the platform. Because here there was a level crossing. Still got the fine concrete gate post. Not sure that's the original gate. And we should be going down there. And this is the info board at Attlebridge Station, the Marriott's Way. We are walking from here through Attlebridge and down to Drayton. And here we have a milepost, triangular concrete, 44 and 1 stroke, which means a quarter of a mile. I love finding these things. It's, you know, after decades, it's still standing there. I love it. Another seat. What's this plaque? No idea. No idea. There's another bridge hidden in the undergrowth. This is number 263, a semicircular masonry underbridge over what looks like what we just called, well, it could be a footpath or it could be what called a cattle creek. Oh, it's a fine bench that's been put in memory of somebody. Looks like some sort of composite material, but that's a lovely touch. Very nice. So this is bridge number 262, an overbridge, elliptical masonry type. You can see the number there. Carrying quite a busy road over this old line. And there's this information board on here, on the bridge. Sands of the past. I don't know. It says turn the handle to hear a class 31 diesel locomotive passing. I don't know. I don't see a handle. I'm not quite sure what that's about. But anyway, it's very nice. Or something. No, I don't know. I can't see a handle. We're now in Mile Plain Plantation. As you can see, a thickly wooded area. I should imagine in summer with the leaves out, it's quite dark through here. And in the autumn, I think they would have had trouble with leaves on the line. And yet another seat. Bit cold to sit on this time of year, and a plaque on the end. Oh, I don't know what. Oh, this looks like jars or something. I don't know. So here we have milepost 45.5. Sorry, there's a road right nearby at the moment. And it's from about this point that the line now changes gradient from coming up from Attlebridge in that direction and going down to not Lenwade, Drayton in that direction. And it must have been quite a slog for the engines leaving Drayton coming up here, because some of the gradient is 1 in 100. Likewise from Attlebridge in that direction. So this is one of the high points of the line, round about here at 45.5 miles from Lynn. So this is Freeland's Corner. There was never a proper level crossing or road here. The crossing and Gatehouse 22 back before Lenwade were the last ones towards Norwich. This was just a path across the track, but the gates and the fencing are all replicas. So let's carry on. So we're out of the plantation now and heading towards Drayton. I hope you can hear me all right. It was quite a windy day. Another seat. What have we got on this one? What's that, compasses or something? Oh no, a plane. Plane flying through a V. Is that something to do with the war? This line to Drayton was lifted in 1973. A passenger service had long finished, but it remained open for freight. So at this point they built a large road bypassing Norwich, the Northern Distributor Road, and in order to keep the Marriotts Way intact they had to build a bridge over it, and that's what we have to cross over now. Nothing very exceptional, cast concrete beams, a bit of I don't know if that's proper brickwork or imitation over on the wing wall there. So this should be bridge number 260, an elliptical masonry. We seem to have lost number 261, which was an underbridge, but I don't know, maybe that disappeared when that bypass was built or somewhere around there. But this should be 260 anyway. Quite an old red brick structure. Slightly on the skew, and a bit of the local artistry. You can tell we're getting closer to Norwich now, because they don't like to venture out into the countryside to do that sort of thing. Another seat, a bit of a sculpture, a bit more on this one. Let's get all. And another plaque. Oh, that's a steam engine crossing over a bridge. You can make that out. I don't think land was much of an issue when this railway was built, because this is incredibly wide. I mean, the fence posts are up on that embankment, and on that one up there, the single line is big enough for a double. Here's a nice little sign near this road crossing, which I'm now going to have a look at. So this road here is a new road, Pendlesham Rise. There was never a bridge here, because I know the next bridge is 258, where the Fakenham Road crosses the railway. And this is all new relative to the railway. So let's go across. So this is where bridge 258 was, an overbridge, rolled joist. This is where the Fakenham Road passed over the railway. And the path deviates now, so I'll have to go up and see what happens to it. But we're on the outskirts of Drayton now. Just to prove where we are, it tells me. And we have walked from here through here, and we're now here. And another seat, and a different piece of sculpture here. And what we've got on the plaque. 2 farmers, agricultural workers, or are they soldiers or something? I don't know. Now we're just approaching the site of bridge 257, an overbridge, elliptical masonry, just before the station. You'll notice we're in a cutting at the moment. Let's go and have a look. I do like the replica crossing gate and fencing. Just a nod to the old Midland and Great Northern style. This was the site of the yard at Drayton, and the station was down here somewhere. Not a great deal to see now. The station was down there. Just to prove it, there's the station road sign. As I say, the station was down here. This ran along the side of the station. Not much to see down here. I'll talk more about the station when I get back home, because there's quite a lot to talk about. So, where we've looked down from that bridge to that industrial area, or what we could see of it, this is what was there originally. Drayton for Cosy, and Taverham, as the station was known, was the largest station between Fakenham and Norwich, excluding Melton Constable, of course. And here there were 2 platforms and a passing loop, and a yard with 6 sidings, 2 goods sheds, coal shed and cattle pens, all on the downside. Bridge 257 that we were on, or the location of it, is at the top there, and we came down Station Road, which runs down to the left. Now there was a Wilkinson and Jarvis small pavilion station building on the up platform, and a footbridge
number 256 in timber, but later the girders were replaced in steel. And this shot you can see bridge 257 in the background, and the footbridge again. There was also, as you can see here, a Wilkinson and Jarvis signal box, 11 levers, finally closed as late as 1968. It was in fact the longest lived on the Midland and Great Northern system. There was also a Wilkinson Jarvis waiting shelter that you can see there on the downside. So that's it for Drayton and for this part. In the final part I'll be going from here via Helston to Norwich City. So I'll see you then. Thanks for watching.